Hello, students. Today, the topic that we are going to start is the grammar topic. And the grammar topic that we are going to start today is chapter number 9, verbs. As we have done adjectives, also pronouns, nouns, everything, now it's the turn of verbs, right? So, verbs are the doing words, right? Verbs. Firstly, just look at the verbs, the definition of it. So, what is a verb, bacha? A verb denotes action, the condition or state of the subject, or what is possessed by the subject. Okay, so mainly it is denoting the action, and that is why a verb is a doing word. Okay, these words, the verbs shows doing words. A verb can express, but it can express a physical action, the physical action that we do with our with the help of our body organs. So a physical action, for example, to swim, to write, to climb, etc. Next, a mental action. Okay, that depends on our mental ability, for example, to think, to guess, to consider, etc. Such kind of words come under mental action. A state of being. Okay, so in this, the examples are to be, to exist, to appear, etc. So these are the examples of state of being. Being means the presence of something or somewhere. This we will learn about the examples. So what are the examples of verbs? Verbs denoting actions. We will see the examples of the verbs which are denoting action. For example, look at these sentences. Vani sang a song. In the form of sentences, you will get the examples now. Vani sang a song. So now here, singing is an action, right? That Vani is doing. So Vani sang a song. Sang is your verb. Rohit plays football. So it is showing the action of Rohit, that he is playing football, right? Next is the verbs denoting being. Now the table is behind the chair. The table is behind the chair. So this in it is denoting being, means the presence of something. The table is behind, the presence of table is behind the chair, right? The children are full of energy, right? So this is also means the children are possessing energy. Next is the verbs denoting possession, possession on something. For example, our locality has beautiful parks. So our locality has beautiful parks means has is showing the possession, that the locality is having the possession of beautiful parks, right? The Indian team has brilliant players. So Indian team is possessing the brilliant players. So has, have, had, they all show the possession also. Next, we will learn about the object of a verb. Object of a verb we have learned earlier also, but here just look at the object. In the sentences, we have learned about the object of a sentence. So, what is an object and the types of object we have learned about. So, in this also we will learn about the object of a verb. Here, see, if we ask what or whom after the verb, okay, if we ask a question to the verb, who, what, and whom, the answer we get is the object of the verb, right? Remember, we have done it earlier as well. So what and whom are the questions that are asked to the verb, and it gives us the answer of object. Now, types of objects, there are two types of objects, which are direct object and indirect object. So example, just look at this example. This example will clear you that which one is the direct and which one indirect. Father gifted Saloni a wristwatch. Here, father is the subject, right? Gifted is the verb. Now, father gifted what? Just ask the question what to the verb. Verb is gifted, right? So, father gifted what? What? A wristwatch. So, a wristwatch is the answer of what question with the help of verb. Okay. So, a wristwatch is your the gifted what? A wristwatch. This is the direct object one, and this is the direct object. Okay. Second, the father gifted to whom or to whom a wristwatch to whom? To Saloni, right? So gifted whom? Saloni is the answer of it. This is your object 2. So object 1 answers the what question, so it is the direct object, and object 2 answers the whom question, so it is the indirect object. So this is very important to keep in mind, bacha, that what is the direct and what is indirect object. Okay. After the objects, just look at these sentences. The subject is given over here, the predicate part is here, and in the predicate part, we will learn about the verb, direct and indirect object. She promised me a reward. So, she promised what? a reward. A reward will be a direct object. She promised a reward to whom? To me. So me will be the indirect object. Okay. He taught what? French. Direct object. Friend to whom? French to us. So us will be indirect. Mother bought what? A toy car. So a toy car will be the direct object, and to whom? To Sonia. So Sonia will be a indirect object. Got it? So these are the examples. Now, classification of verbs. How the verbs are classified. The verbs are classified into two parts mainly, which are first is the main verbs and second is auxiliary verbs. Okay, main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Main verbs, the first kind of main verb is transitive verbs and the second is intransitive verbs. Okay, remember this thing very clearly and keep it in your mind that main verbs are having two parts, transitive and intransitive. Auxiliary verbs are also having two parts, primary auxiliaries in which be, have, do are the main forms. Okay, further many forms are there that I will teach you after a few minutes in the next slide. Second is your modal auxiliaries. Okay, so these are all the modals come under it. Next is we will learn about first, we will start with the main verbs. What are main verbs? Main verbs can occur independently or in combination with an auxiliary verb. Okay, so the main verbs they can occur independently also and in the combination with any auxiliary verb. We will learn about the auxiliary verb after some time. Though I have earlier also I explained you that auxiliary verbs are the helping verbs that are used with the main verbs. So examples are write, laugh, fight, cry, such kind of many verbs are here, all the action words. Example, you can see he walks in the morning and evening. Here he walks in the morning and evening. Here walks is the verb and it is using or it is used over here independently, right? Sia is laughing very loudly. So here laughing is the main verb but it is used with the auxiliary verb is. Okay. So these are the two forms that we can use main verb as. Okay. Now I will also teach you that how auxiliary verbs are used later. Main verb, the first type of main verb is transitive verbs. So what is transitive? A verb which requires an object to complete its meaning is called the transitive verb. So object we have learned about, right? Two types of objects are there. So whenever a verb in a sentence, it requires an object to complete its meaning. Means if we will not put any object in it, so there will not be any meaning of that sentence with the verb only, right? So that is called your transitive verb. Here, look at the examples. The government announced a new pension scheme. So in this sentence, you can see which are the government announced what? A new pension scheme. So object is present over here, na? The direct object, what answer it is giving. So a new pension scheme is the direct object or the object of the sentence. So in the presence of object, this verb will be called transitive verb. Got it? They sold the tickets. They sold what? The tickets. So the ticket is the object in it, so sold will be your transitive verb. Same in the next sentence, Mary baked her mother a pie. Mary baked what? A pie, direct object, and to whom? To her mother, right? So these both the objects are here. So means in the presence of object, the verb will be your transitive verb. Got it? Hopefully you are understanding. So after the next type of verb is intransitive verb. It is also a main verb. So what are intransitive verb? A verb which does not require an object to complete its meaning. As same but your transitive requires an object and intransitive do not require any object. So a verb which does not require an object to complete its meaning but makes good sense by itself, okay, is called an intransitive verb. It by itself making a very good sense of the sentence, so it do not require any kind of object behind it. Examples are here. The sun is shining. So here is no object. Okay. The child cried. Right. Here is no object after the verb. So that means it is your intransitive verb. Got it? Now, we will learn about the verbs of incomplete predication. Means when the predication is incomplete of the verb or your which verb which are having verbs in such form that the object that is used means the later part that is not at all an object, means without that part also your sentence will be correct. So some intransitive verbs take subject complements to complete their meaning. Obvious, bacha, if the object is not there, then it will be the intransitive verb, right? So some intransitive verbs like are like that, which take subject complements to complete their meaning, but no objects. But no objects are not there. Okay, they are called incomplete verbs. They include be, is, am, are, was, were, will be, shall be. These all are the forms of be only, right? Appear, seem, look, etc. Such kind of verbs are called the incomplete predication verbs. So just look at the sentences, then it will be clear to you. The teacher is angry. So here we are saying the teacher is angry. So the teacher is angry. Is your verb in it, and angry is the subject complement. Okay, it is showing the quality of the teacher. The teacher is which kind of teacher it is. At that time the nature of the teacher is in anger mode, right? The teacher is angry, so angry will be your complement for the subject. Subject is the teacher, right? So it is the complement for the teacher, so this will be your subject complement, not the object. Okay, look at this sentence. The teacher looked satisfied. Okay, the teacher looked satisfied. Looked satisfied, the teacher looked how satisfied, not what. The teacher looked what or whom. These answers are not over here, so that means satisfied is not at all your verb, and angry and satisfied are not at all the noun or pronoun. And in the place of subject and object, only nouns and pronouns are there, right? So looked will be your verb and satisfied will be your subject complement. Satisfied means who is satisfied? The teacher is satisfied, right? So the satisfied word is giving a compliment to the teacher. Okay, bacha. Hopefully you have understood that what is the meaning of it, why it has been over here that it is the subject complement, why not the object, right? We will come to the auxiliary verbs. Now, auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs, right? So, auxiliary verbs often function as helping verbs for the main verbs. Okay, with the main verbs, they are used as the helping verbs. She is watering the plant. Here you can see that is your auxiliary or helping verb, and watering is the main verb, right? And is used with the main verb to make the meaning complete. I will also tell you in which modes the auxiliary verbs work. So be, have and do. They are the three primary auxiliary verbs. Okay, the basic of auxiliary verbs from which the other forms of verbs are created. They can also be used as main verbs. Be, have and do, such kind of verbs can also be used as main verbs. Just I will show you. Now look at these examples: be, do and have, as I told you. So as main verbs and as auxiliary verbs. So how as main verbs they are used? She is Krishika. So is here is used as a main verb, right? And is a form of be, right? I have told you the is, am, are, was, were, will be, shall be are the forms of be only. So she is Krishika is a form of be, and it is used in the sentence as a main verb. He did the job very well. Now did is the form of do, right? The past form of do. So this did is also used over here as a main verb. She has a pet dog. Has is a form of have, right? Has, have, had are the form of have. So has is used here as a main verb, right? No other verb is here with them. Now as the auxiliary verbs, she is knitting a sweater. So knitting is the main verb and is used as an auxiliary verb or the helping verb. He did not like football. Now did not like is the main verb, and did is your auxiliary verb or the helping verb. Okay, and it is showing over here the past tense. Did is the second form of do, right? So this is the past tense. She has written a letter to her mother. Now written is the main verb, and has is used with it to add the meaning or to complete the meaning of it. Okay, so this is also used over here as a helping or auxiliary. Hopefully you have understood. Now primary auxiliaries we will learn about. The two types of auxiliaries I told you, that primary auxiliaries and your modal auxiliaries. So primary auxiliaries, the verb be, do and have are called primary auxiliaries. Okay, they are the primary one. Primary auxiliaries are used to show the tense of the noun verbs. Now As I told you, I will tell you how the auxiliaries are verb. They are used to form the tense of the noun. Now here, just look at the example. For example, the bird is flying swiftly. Now is flying. Flying ing form is always continuous, right? Is used with it to tell us that it is the present tense. So the bird is flying swiftly. So it is showing the present continuous tense, right? Is your helping verb or the auxiliary verb, or flying is the main verb. He has received your gift. Has is your primary verb or the auxiliary verb, and received is the main verb. So here has received, third form of verb plus has. So this will be your present perfect tense. Got it? Now second point, that primary auxiliaries are used to show a habit also. How it shows a habit? Just look at it. He does not like cricket. Okay, so he does not like cricket. So it is showing the habit of the boy that he does not like it, right? So does is the your primary verb or the auxiliary verb, and like is the main verb in it. Primary auxiliaries are used to make negative and interrogative sentences also. Like, have you seen the movie Three Idiots? So, have is your primary auxiliary. We are not going to the park. Are is your primary auxiliary, right? So, they are showing you the interrogative sentence, question mark sentence, right? Asking a question, and the negative sentence related to not. Next are modal auxiliaries. What are modal auxiliaries? These are the verbs that cannot function as main verbs, and they are called the modal auxiliaries. Okay, modal verbs are used over here. So, what are modals? Modal auxiliaries can never stand alone in a sentence. Okay, they never stand alone in a sentence. They always need the help of the other main verbs. For example, the modal auxiliaries can function only as helping verb. They are modal auxiliaries. These just look at the examples: will, shall, can, may, must, ought to, would, should, could, might, used to. These are the modal auxiliaries. Okay, the modal verbs you can say. Okay, will, the past form of will be would, shall, should, can, could, may, might. Okay, now you may come in. You may come in. Here, may is used with come, right? Come is the main verb and may is used with it. So this is your modal auxiliaries. Can I help you? So help is the main verb and can is your modal verb. You should follow safety rules. Okay, so follow is your main verb and should will be your modal verb. Okay, so they are always used with the main verb. They cannot stand by themselves alone. Got it? So these are the modal verbs which are hopefully you have understood, and just go through the video fully, and this is the end of your video. And if you are having any kind of doubt, you can ask me in the session. So just read hard, bache, work hard, do your work properly on time, and take very good care of yourself. Okay, goodbye.